Hey guys, it's November. You know what that means, right? Well, if you said anything other than James Bond, then you're completely wrong. I mean, granted, some people might think of festivals, they might think of parades, Thanksgiving, football, but no, all that's complete bullshit. The month of November is for one and one thing only, and that's James Bond. Now, I have no idea who in their right mind thought that 007 and November went together like turkey and cranberry sauce, but hey, the guys at TBS thought it was a great idea. No, I'm completely serious. I would love to know why TBS started to show a James Bond marathon during the month of November, let alone the week before Thanksgiving. But eventually, TBS stopped doing that, and Spike TV was quick to take up the mantle, and they've been doing this ever since. I have very fond memories watching these marathons with my dad every time November rolled around, and I give my dad the credit for making me the Bond fanatic that I am today. You see, back before the time of VHS and the ability to record shows using VHS tapes, there was this old format called High 8. They were like mini VHS cassette tapes that mini camcorders still use today. Having a High 8 player, my dad hooked it up and allowed him to record all the classic Bond films. My dad had every single Bond film up to GoldenEye on High 8, and this is what I grew up on. But why am I going on and on about films? This is gaming forever. I mean, clearly, all you guys care about are the games, and nothing about my absolute love for James Bond. But what, you want me to talk about the classics? Oh, granted, I could go on and on about the perfection that was GoldenEye on the N64, how EA took up the mantle from Rare and made top-quality James Bond video games, and the fact how Activision completely messed everything up. Well, I mean, to their credit, Bloodstone and the GoldenEye remake were superb. But this is Seth's Obscure Game Gallery. You want to see the old and, well, obscure stuff. So, without further ado, this is Seth's Obscure Video Gallery, James Bond Edition. And now I've finally fulfilled one of my inner childhood dreams. But enough about that nonsense. Out of the many James Bond games out there, how could there be a game that folks wouldn't know about? Well, I did a little bit of digging. Sure, I could talk about the old text-based adventure games on the Commodore 64. I could talk about that really weird DOS game that's based on License to Kill. I could even talk about the Sega Genesis title. We're not going to talk about the Sega Genesis title. As a matter of fact, that would actually make a really good Infamous game gallery, but I want to try to focus on the good games for my Obscure game gallery. No. I found the game that everyone who owned a Game Boy could have easily overlooked. Yes, that's right. There is a James Bond game on the Game Boy. Now, I know what you're thinking. How on earth do you do a James Bond game on the Game Boy when the series is predominantly known for being a first-person shooter? 3 words. Legend of Zelda. I'm not joking. This game is a Zelda clone. The game is viewed from a top-down perspective. The levels, while not connected by a central hub world, are expansive and maze-like, and James collects items that will help him on his mission. Yeah, I know, it's great! But what is a James Bond game without that James Bond plot? This game's plot has Bond traveling all across Europe and Asia, trying to track down an arms smuggling ring, and this journey will have him run into new foes and old foes that should technically be dead. But more on that later. Bond's mission starts in China, and right from the bat, I am loving this game. The music is great, the controls are responsive for a Zelda clone, and the environment is lovingly racist. Seriously, take a look at the people and the environment. The characters are all wearing rice paddy hats, the old men look like monks, and the fighters are black belts. This game definitely knows how the world is in the 1990s. In order to progress, you need to find yourself a hammer. To find the hammer, you need to break into people's houses and wreck up the place. James Bond will ransack everything to find what he wants, and unfortunately, this is the way you acquire items. There are no chests, there are no obvious icons. You have to enter a room and start spamming the A or B button in hopes that you find something decent. So yeah, you find a hammer after stealing some of their avian flu medication, and you give it to this guy. He says he'll repair the bridge, but it might take a few minutes. Few minutes. Yeah, right. All you have to do is go back to the screen and BAM! Bridge is complete. Wouldn't that be really nice out in the real world? You're on your way to work, but you see that there's bridge construction and you might be late? Well, just blink your eyes and BANG! That bridge is now complete. Oh, there really isn't much left to do in China. Just run around, collect items, and continue to fight black belts. Who are complete pussies, by the way. They will only attack you one at a time, and all you need to do is block to avoid serious damage. After one good block, you just punch them in the face, rinse and repeat till they die. Their leader, Zhongmei, however, isn't a pushover by any means. She'll do this ballerina twirl across the screen, which is incredibly fast, and if you're not careful, it can do a lot of damage to James if she traps you. Make sure you save some of the health packs you've collected during your journey, and by the end of the fight, you might only have to use one or two. The best way to defeat her is honestly to kind of stick your... The best way to defeat her is just to stay put in a corner and keep laying the smack down on her till she passes out. After hijacking a boat and driving it all the way to London, at least that's what I'm inferring after seeing the ending cutscene to China, M will give Bond his next mission to Kurdistan. So, you grab your gun from Q as well as this fancy stun keychain, and if you talk to this guy up here, you can get a secret item known as the Marble. Yeah, the Marble. No idea what that stands for. Anyway, Bond will finally head over to the next country. Here, Bond has to track down Iqbal to get information about the smugglers. The only way to get to him is if you get a forged cabaret document from this random guy in a jail cell. To do this, you have to first track down his brother and get his gold ring to prove your worth, and then find paper for the guy to forge it with. The paper is located at Iqbal's girl, and you pretty much steal it from her. However, to get this far, you need to find yourself a machete. And at this point, the game honestly becomes Legend of Zelda. Let's just insert the Hyrule theme in. Feels right at home, doesn't it? So, after stealing the lamp, James can enter a cave in order to fight and kill Iqbal to rescue 008. The fight is honestly quite easy. If you stand to one side, Iqbal will continue to run into the stun keychain, and when he's stunned, go ahead and fire a shot from your service pistol. The fight doesn't take that long. So, after taking the keys from Iqbal, you can finally release 008 from his prison. And 008 is on the verge of starvation. Instead of, you know, taking your fellow agent to safety, maybe finding a way to get him in contact with M, James Bond just takes his information and ditches the guy. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen. Level 3 takes James into Marrakesh in order to find Oddjob, who should be dead considering that James electrocuted him in Goldfinger. This is when the game gets really, and I mean really, open-ended. You have so many locations to travel to, and each place is required to finish the level. From the start, you have people telling you that you should go to the casino. Hey, you should go track down Q. Hey, have you checked out our black market? Yeah, this country's black market is a tourist attraction. So of course one will start to wonder about aimlessly, much like I did. The streets are filled with assassins that come from Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I just cut through them with my sword instead of bothering shooting them with my service pistol. It then dawns on you how much of a maze this level truly is. Of course, there is one easy way to navigate all just go grab an underground pass from a merchant in the streets. However, he wants something viable, like a golden egg. Yeah, this world uses eggs for currency. I've got money, Wonka's a millionaire right now. But, do you even have the golden egg? Did you bother cutting down this one bush in the last level that took you to a rock that wasn't actually a boundary but looked like it? That took you to another screen where there was another guy that you had to cut to with a machete? And the guy gives you a golden egg just to buy out your silence? Yeah, neither did I my first time. But you don't have that golden egg? you get to traverse the maze that is level 3. That means you have to navigate this maze each and every single time you want to work your way from the black market, back to the streets, back to the casino, and then back to the black market again. Have fun! Eventually, you find your way to the black market, and then it dawns on you how much this game is a lot like the Legend of Zelda games on the Game Boy. More importantly, like Link's Awakening. If you ever played the game, there was this point where you had to do an item delivery side quest. If you have memories of that, well, get ready to relive them once again. The point of going to the black market is to gain access to the catacombs. However, James won't go inside because it's too dark to see. Well, James, if you didn't ditch your lamp in the last mission, this wouldn't be an issue, now would it? The only guy who has some illumination will only part with it if you can offer him escape. So, after running around the market for a long time, James will come across a chicken vendor, and for some unknown reason to the player, James Bond decides to hold this guy up and steals his chicken. I mean, I guess he has a thing for rotisserie chicken, but come on, man! You're better than this! So you'll start running around some more until you find a booth that sells cats for free. But to get a cat, you have to give the guy some food, like the chicken. Do you see where this is going? You'll then use the cat to get rid of a rodent infestation to get a pearl. This pearl is then given to some jerk to get you a fake passport, aka the escape. Then, Bond can give this to the man for a pair of night vision goggles. Finally, James can access the catacombs because he has the night vision goggles to see in the dark. God, I need a drink right now. I really do need that drink about now. But this stage has yet to get worse. The catacombs are filled with guards who have guns. These are the first enemies that you face in this game with weapons of this caliber. So, naturally, this would be a good time to use that service pistol. Oh god. The gun is useless. I mean, really useless. Using the gun takes a frame of animation, and that frame opens you up for an attack. The second that an enemy's bullet either hits or misses James, that enemy will proceed to fire once more. In the event that James gets hit by anything, he will instantly be stun locked for a second. This second means that James will not be able to use or fire any of the weapons he currently has equipped. So, anytime you are ever engaged in a firefight, you are guaranteed to lose each and every single encounter. Now then, the gun takes about 5 hits to kill a guard, while the sword in your bare fist takes only 4. That's right, the sword is better than the gun. This game has literally turned into The Legend of Bond. Now, there is one thing that is also significantly better about the sword. This weapon can stun enemies. All you have to do is keep wailing on a guard, and he will not be able to shoot you back. This is a trick I used heavily throughout the rest of this game. So after using a med kit or 2 on the many guards in this area, I found it impossible to progress through the mission. And I soon found out why. Turns out that these cages littered amongst the catacombs can only be opened by the laser watch that Q gives James in this level. So I had to go back outside, refight the same enemies that I had once killed before, get lost in the streets till I finally found Q's lab. Once that watch was finally mine, I had to do the same shit again. The game is actually nice that once you kill enemies in an area, they will permanently stay dead. However, once a new area has loaded up, all those enemies that you killed before will respawn. It's a dirty trick that a lot of old Game Boy and NES games utilized back in the day. So, after getting several game overs and cursing like a sailor, I finally made it back to my last spot in the catacombs. Behind one of the cages led to the casino of all places. Sure, why not? And what was behind door number 2? Why, it's a hidden brothel? Okay, I guess. I mean, you're not gonna hear any complaints from me. I mean, we're in an area where no one's trying to kill us. That's a plus. And besides, James Bond is surrounded by a bunch of beautiful 8-bit women. That works for him, I guess. It's here that you meet Miss Bliss, and James then decides to have a one-night stand with her and steal the diamond located in her navel, in true James Bond fashion. So, of course, this leads them back to the streets of Marrakesh? Wait, are you telling me that I have to... No.